Welcome to Joy Newsroom. I am Maame Thompson. Coming up in this hour, constitutional lawyer Kpebu has lauded the ruling of the Supreme Court in the case involving former Auditor General Domelevo.
The Supreme Court has done a good job on this occasion. So, I'm just so overwhelmed by what they've done.
Also, former Deputy Attorney General Joseph Kpebu claims the sophisticated operation of illicit miners has become a serious impediment in the battle against galamsey.
There's some of the areas where the galamsey is going on. It will be difficult for even the security to have access. Because you have about 10.
We have more as former Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, Yusuf Hussaini, asks leadership of the country to rise up to the call and uproot cancer, as the impact of the galamsey on those living there is huge. Also, former National Security Advisor Francis Poku says there are many situations in the country that could be exploited by radicals and violent extremists if conscious efforts are not made by government to protect the nation. Also, the lack of dining hall space at the Wali Senior High School has compelled school authorities to institute a shift system where students take their turns to eat. I am Maame Thompson. We'll be right back with details. In our first story, lawyer Kpebu has lauded the ruling of the Supreme Court in the case involving former Auditor General Domelevo. His concerns the directive from the presidency asking the former Auditor General to proceed on leave. According to him, the court's unanimous decision describing the directive as unconstitutional is landmark and would go a long way to protect independent constitutional bodies in the country. Speaking on Joy News File, he mentioned that the ruling is a step in the right direction to ensure that the president's extensive powers are curtailed.
The Supreme Court has done a good job on this occasion. So, I'm just so overwhelmed by what they've done. Yeah, so if we say so what, and we are grateful to their lordships, okay? So I'll do middle of the road. Yes, you see that going forward, the decision is landmark because it's beginning to chart a new path. Because you know that, Sam, by this one decision, we can't just say, so what? You know there are 7 constitutional, independent constitutional bodies, right, in the Constitution. So with this decision on the Auditor General, it means that impliedly it's going to affect all the other 6. So if we mention, so we are looking at, apart from the Auditor General, we have the Judicial Service, we have the Lands Commission, Almighty EC, the National Media Commission, BOG that couldn't hold that was spineless, and last year, financed the government with about $40 billion, which helped to spike inflation. So this decision to help BOG in its independence. You can check the IMF report where the IMF berated the BOG for its weakness. It couldn't hold its own against the government. So this is a decision that will help. So it means that we are helping to cut back on the autocratic, tendencies of our presidents. Because that's always been the bane of our democracy, that we've given too much power to an executive president under Article 58 and Article 57. I know that's likely to blame for a lot of our problems because, this constitution was made, from my understanding, Professor Hoy and Co., to appease J.J. Rawlings. So as soon as J.J. Rawlings was out of the picture, we had to take steps to do a new constitution because that's what I believe, what is being said, that it was basically to appease him. So you see a lot of the powers going to the president. So if Rawlings was no longer in power, there was a need. And I'm sure that's why Professor Mills took the initiative to do constitutional review. Okay. And what have we done with it? So whatever it is, this Supreme Court decision is a landmark decision, is going to reshape our constitution to check the executive president.
Away from that, former Deputy Attorney General Joseph Kpebu claims the sophisticated way that claims that the illicit operation of miners has become a serious impediment to the battle against galamsey. According to him, official security officers posted to various forest reserves are unable to access most galamsey locations because they are strongly guarded by illegal miners. Meanwhile, Joy News' latest investigation documents how Chamfan machines are still operating on the Ofin and Tano rivers. Erastus Asaridonko produced this documentary.
What you're seeing right now is on the Tano River.
Okay, what's it?
Yeah, this is the Chamfan machine.
Chamfan machines.
And yes, it's mounted on a raft, and you see the long pole they are using to dig into the riverbed.
No,
and
correct me if I'm wrong, because you have paid a lot of focus and attention to this area. Have we not been told that you won't find a single Chamfan on any water body in this country today?
Well, whoever said it perhaps is tickling himself and laughing. Maybe he's in a different world, a different planet. Go to the Ofin River as we speak. Fly your drone over the river in areas like Abumpe, Abesia, and Beposo. They are there. Over 200 of them sitting on the river mining. Go to, we rode on the Ankobra River for
Tell me you are exaggerating this. Tell me you are exaggerating this. Over 200 Chamfans and a machine that has been declared completely illegal, and that we can't find a single one of them in this country. There are as many as over 200, and those in charge cannot see.
But something, even on our way to some of these river bodies, new Chamfans are being built by the roadside. Where are they taking them? They are building them, as we speak. It's by the roadside. You see them mounting them by the roadside. They are selling them. What do they use it for? To maize or what? We went on the Ankobra, like I was saying. We were in a boat. We wanted to know how the Ankobra is being polluted. And that was after the deputy minister came up with these false images of the Ankobra clearing. And you see at Duale on the river, Ankobra, there is a host of Chamfan machines sitting on the river there. You go to Anwolenzo, you see a number of Chamfans on the Ankobra at that point. There are some at Banso as well. You go to Domenase after the bridge on the Ankobra, there are some sitting on it there. Go to Pristia, Bogoso, right just a few meters from under the bridge. On the Ankobra, there are Chamfans, a number of them sitting there. And I'm not just saying it, we have videos that we picked.
Well, former Deputy Attorney General Joseph Benka says these sophisticated operations by galamseyers are making the battle even more difficult than the fight against corruption. He spoke on Newsfile.
I have sat here with you, and I stated, and I want to repeat today, that the fight against galamsey is more difficult than the fight against corruption. I have said that, and I repeat that the fight against corruption is less difficult compared to the fight against galamsey, and that we are nowhere near winning the battle against galamsey. In fact, I will say that we have just started the battle. But this is the difficulty. And let me state this. You see, he indicated that they even use drones at certain points to be able to capture some of the devastations that actually went on. Let me indicate this to you, that some of the areas where the galamsey is going on, it will be difficult for even the security to have access. Because you have about 30 kilometers outside of the road that a vehicle can ply into the bush. Somebody is there. How are you even going to know that the person is there? If not for maybe the help of a drone, that you'll be able to sight these people.
If a journalist will know, the security must know better.
No, that's what I'm indicating to you is that what Erastus has actually
Erastus with multimedia vehicle pickup can access those places. They must have better access.
This is why, you see, what Erastus is reporting, let me be honest with you, he probably hasn't reported 30% of devastation. That's what I'm trying to indicate to you. he hasn't reached certain areas where the devastation is going on, even beyond what he would have contemplated. So, to be honest with you, we are just looking at it by the roadside. Some of the pictures that were shown are by towns and villages and all that. But some of them are deep in the forest, deep in areas where we have not had access routes. And they can walk for 20 kilometers with food and go and stay in there that you won't have access unless maybe you use drones. So it is a very difficult fight, really, to be able to win.
A former member of parliament for Tamale Central, Inusa Fuseni, lamented the impact of Galamsey on those living there.
Now, Dr. Sampeni, we had known that hard metals, when they lodge in the body, cause havoc, cause destruction, cause cancers, interfere with the development of babies. We had known that. And I say that anybody who visits hospitals in the mining areas will be left in no doubt that we have to do something against Galamsey.
Give us an idea what you mean by when you visit hospitals in the mining areas.
When you go to Obuasi, when you go to even to what's the name of that place? Kpebu.
What do you see?
You will see deformities. Babies born with deformities. Short limb. Okay, big head. You will see babies
abnormally big head.
Abnormally big head. Okay, the pregnancy complications because of the development. Anything that impedes the development, because nature is saying that at times
these people live in communities where this is happening.
This is happening.
They have chiefs. They have local authority, political leadership. So the leadership has failed. The chiefs have failed.
So that's why I have always said that fighting Galamsey should be a multi-stakeholder responsibility. Now you get all of us involved, everybody. But the responsibility, the primary responsibility, lies with government. First of all, lies with government to be able to bring together all the stakeholders. Second, to demonstrate that it is really committed, because it is government, it is the president who swears on the Bible, in the case of our presidents that we have had so far, to uphold the laws of this country. So any president has a responsibility to uphold the laws of the country. So enforcement is a duty.
Former National Security Advisor Francis Boko said many situations could be exploited by radicals and violent extremists if conscious efforts are not made by governments to protect the nation. He said the absence of good governance, judicial use of resources, and fair electoral issues, among others, could create dissatisfaction among people who may embrace violent offers to destabilize the nation. He made the remarks at a dialogue by National Catholic Secretariat in Sunyani. Precious Semevo has more.
The regional dialogue in Sunyani was organized by the National Catholic Secretariat of the Ghana Catholic Bishops' Conference, funded by the Catholic Relief Services. The Sahel Peace Initiative had stakeholders including the Peace Council, political parties, religious leaders, youth leaders, and security agencies to raise awareness about conflicts in Ghana that have the potential of providing fertile grounds for violent extremism, and also provide the platform to advocate for positive change. Most Reverend Matthew Kwesi Jemfi is the Bishop of Sunyani and President of the conference.
We seek to enhance our understanding of the trending conflict issues and how they create fertile grounds for violent extremist infiltration. By delving deep into the root causes of these conflicts, we can develop effective strategies to counteract their detrimental effects. Secondly, we aim to emphasize the role of alternative dispute resolution in safeguarding social cohesion.
Bono Regional Minister Justina Osubanahini urged stakeholders to be vigilant of signs that could potentially lead to instability in the border region. She expressed worry over the high number of chieftaincy disputes.
The Bono region's proximity to Côte d'Ivoire, with porous borders, As to the potential challenges in managing the situation, there are 25 unresolved chieftaincy disputes currently before the Bono Regional House of Chiefs Judicial Committee, with 10 being at the paramountcy level. This has been a challenge to the Regional House of Chiefs in terms of trying to find amicable solutions to these disputes, and has also been a constant worry for the Regional Security Council, which role is to ensure the peace and stability of our dear region.
Former National Security Advisor Francis Poku, speaking on the theme, Trending Conflicts in Ghana, Fertile Grounds for Violent Extremism, a call for action, said concerns such as good governance should be important to government to ensure agitators are not exploited by radicals and violent extremists to destabilize the nation.
It's not enough for security services to protect the nation against violence and subversion, but there is an area of good governance to ensure that these grievances do not persist in a country. And that is the best protection against terrorist violence. So with regime protection must go good governance. And all governments have a duty for the purpose of stability to ensure that there is good governance. If there's no good governance, you create unemployment, you create dissatisfaction, you have groups that are disaffected, you have groups that feel that they are not part and parcel of society. And if you go to areas where government development has not reached, they are also easy targets because they feel that they are not part of society and they will embrace any groups that come with offers of violence.
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Sunyai.
Now, the lack of a dining hall space at the Wale Wale Senior High School has compelled school authorities to institute a shift system where students take their turns to eat. The school's dining hall, built in 1962 for a student population of 120, has never been renovated and therefore unable to hold the current student population of nearly 2,000. Headmaster of the school, Ibrahim Sebiem, said the school is also faced with inadequate accommodation space and erratic water supply for both teachers and students, making teaching and learning difficult. Speaking at a speech and prize-giving day event, Mr. Sebiem explained the challenges impeding the success of the free senior high school program that must be addressed. Correspondent Elias Otanko reports.
The achievement of the students and staff, as well as individuals and groups who have played and continue to play vital roles in the development of the school, attended by several stakeholders including chiefs, politicians, influential individuals and members of the general public. The event also afforded the school management the opportunity to lay bare the challenges confronting the school. Headmaster of the school, Ibrahim Sebiem, in his address bemoaned the deplorable state of the dining hall, which is said had never seen any renovation since its construction in the late 1960s.
Due to the inadequate nature of the dining hall, students go in tents. They are unable to sit in and eat, to practice the good eating manners or habits. Also important, it denies us of, or it robs us of our academic time. So we believe that if we get a modern dining hall, it should be able to accommodate everybody. They sit at once, eat their food, their meals at once. That kind of socialization in dining, students will pick it up and is going to help them.
According to the headmaster, accommodation for teachers was another serious challenge of the school. He said out of 100 teaching staff, only less than 10 stay on campus.
It's a research that shows that when teachers stay on campus, number one, they stay longer in that school. Number two, discipline is ensured. Number three, educational outcomes improve. So it is based on this that we took that initiative. Let me first of all mention that out of 117 teachers, less than 10 stay on campus.
Water supply in the school, the headmaster said, continues to be erratic and disrupting academic work.
The water is a big challenge because any time the water system is down. Anytime they are unable to supply us, all the students will go to town looking for water. They walk a distance to search for water, and this impedes academic work.
Mr. Sebiam also called for the construction of a modern science laboratory and equipment for the technical and art programs.
Permit me to say that the school, though we are doing science, we don't have a modern laboratory. What we have now is old, and the equipments are not there. It's ill-equipment. So if it is equipped or a new modern one is given, it will help us to be able to perform well, especially in the sciences.
Academic performance, however, according to the headmaster, was improving despite the challenges.
Let me state emphatically, despite this challenge, one of our best students is Daniel Bitiak. He had a grade 8 and he's doing medicine in UDS. In mathematics, in 2021, was 52.9%. And 2022, we improved to 89.9%. In integrated science, equally important to mention that we had 61.8 and we got to 90.9.
At the event, the best male and female students were awarded. The school also named its new dormitories after 3 distinguished individuals for their extraordinary roles in the progress of the school. The school also commissioned the first unit of its self-initiated teachers accommodation project. A representative of the Regional Education Director, the Regional Minister Yidana Zakari, and the Member of Parliament addressed the gathering. Both the Minister and the MP acknowledged the challenges of the school and pledged to address them. The first head prefect of the school, Dr. Suleimana, said the school has helped shape his life and he is grateful.
It has improved my personal life. If not because of this school, I don't know what I could have done. I became a teacher, and now I own my own school. I have a private school. It's because of the school that has developed me. Thanks to Wallet Technical School.
Reporting from Wallet.
Bapakba DA Primary School to receive furniture after Joy News feature pupils of the school in the Nanumba North Municipality of the Northern Region are excited following an announcement that they will receive school furniture from Monday, 5th June. Government sent furniture to the school after Joy News highlighted the challenges facing the school. One of the pupils, Gifty Odanjo, who wept because of the needed furniture, is also excited. We'll bring you the story shortly, but let's go back to that sad memory.
Odanjo Gifty is a primary 5 pupil. To get access to a desk, she comes to school very early in the morning. The furniture situation here is based on a first-come, first-served basis, but she is not happy losing hours of sleep because of furniture. Gifty found a way to avoid lying on the floor to write, but she's not happy that her colleagues lie on their bellies to write.
Government blood of Ganangakite. The gun can enter. A Debayadan school cacatang. Ali lack of one young kanga, Ipum Bimena, never couldn't do the Ruchinawa. Bocakamu cacatang. Uniform back by uniform, but the gun can enter.
At this point, tears cloud her eyes, and shortly after, all emotions she had bottled up finally let loose.
Ali Mabakasalakana, marked by uniform, my uniform Bakanga. Unkataka, what I don't to come up with Sunny, and I did like me cook what I batter.
She had endured enough of the humiliation. Her teacher, Janet Tijotap, who served as my translator, couldn't believe that the children are so affected by the furniture situation. She also shed tears.
During the rainy season, whenever it rains, it links from the up there. So they have to run into a small room over there. So she coming to school to see her colleagues lying down. When she look at it, she feels sad. So and that was what made her cry. I feel bad.
These tears are because of the pain of inequalities they had suffered for years. For years, teachers have not explored how children feel about sitting, lying and squatting on the bare, dirty floor to study.
Well, we went back to Bakbaba DA Primary School to meet Gifty Odanjo, who is besides herself a joy. Martina Bugri has more.
It's a sunny day in the Bakbaba community in the Nanumba North Municipality of the Northern Region. We are visiting the Bakbaba DA Primary School today to interact with Gifty. Gifty's teacher, Madam Andarat Mohammed, is having her last lesson. The class is concentrating while she teaches. Outside Gifty's classroom is the Municipal Chief Executive for Nanumba North District. He had come to meet with school authorities. This is Gifty's mood today, when she was informed she will soon have a table and a chair to sit and study. She could not control her joy. Change has come. They are moving from sitting on the bare floor to sitting on a table and chair. She tells Joy News it's a new dawn, motivated to study. I am excited the MC has come to inform us to be giving us new chairs. When I was speaking, I got emotional because of the way we sit on the ground, and sometimes we go home when the rains come. Now we have furniture. I will study hard. I want to become someone responsible in future, so I'll be a doctor or a teacher. It is not only Gifty who is excited they are getting furniture. Her teacher Mohammed Andaratu says it will help make it easy to control her class. But she also has an appeal to make to the Ghana Education Service and the general public.
Now, they will be concentrating whenever I'm in class or whenever I'm teaching. Because of lack of furniture, sometimes when you are teaching, some of the students, they will be playing, and some of them, they will be lying down. Others will be fighting. So now that there are furniture to sit, they will be sitting, concentrate, no playing, no fighting. So because of that, I'm so much happy. We are appealing that they should help us with teachers, tables, and chairs. In the video, as you can see, I was standing while marking the register on top of the window, which is not good. So we are appealing that you should help us with teachers' table and chairs.
Municipal Chief Executive for Nanumba North, Abdullah Yakub, who spoke to Joy News, said the municipality has received some quantity of dual decks and is also complementing with some.
After the documentary, we've received 290 dual decks from the local government. Precisely, the Common Fund Administrator sent down 290. We are supposed to take 500 pieces of the dual decks. And the Assembly have also constructed 152 dual decks. So as I speak, you have seen those furniture are packed in the Assembly, awaiting for distribution. Yes, she will get one, and I have also promised to show her a set of school uniform, and some of the. I've also procured some school uniform to be given to the KG class.
Senior lecturer at the Department of Physiology and School of Medical Sciences, University of Cape Coast, Dr. Francis Jangpa, is urging Ghana to accept genome editing, which is a newer version of the GMO technology. According to him, the GMO technology, if accepted, will help farmers grow their crops either in the rainy season or dry season without challenges. Speaking to Joy News at a workshop to educate stakeholders, Dr. Francis Jangpa encouraged Ghana to accept the technology as part of measures to eliminate hunger and pest intrusion.
Food chain system to that of a foreign country, for example, you see that in Ghana we only find certain food at certain times in the year. We don't get them all year round. This is because the crop cannot withstand the dry season growth. You can only grow the crop in the rainy season. And once the rainy season is past, you have to wait for the next rainy season. But with this technology, if we really accept and we are using it, we can produce crops that can grow during both the rainy and the dry season. So our crop throughout the year. So all year round, we deal with this lean season where there's no food, people are suffering hunger here and there. So to help us effectively to overcome hunger. Then if we accept it too, we'll do away with many issues with pests that are destroying and devastating crops here and there. So this is how it can help us secure our food, produce enough, get enough storage. And now look, there's even a new trend that, weevils destroy a lot of. Now there's a new trend that is coming. We can even make seed that will resist weevil destruction. So when you are storing your beans, you are not afraid. You don't even think about weevil coming to destroy it. Formerly, you had to put some fumigant inside to preserve it, but now new varieties are coming up. So if Ghanaians will listen carefully and understand this thing, I think it will help all of us in the long run. Definitely it's cheaper than the conventional or traditional method for the farmer to adopt it. Because initially, the input you make, you buy the seed that you plant anyway. So you buy the old seed, they used to buy it. This seed too, they will also buy. But after planting, the expenditure, you maintain the crop, spray it, make sure it doesn't, the pest doesn't destroy it. So you save that money. You wouldn't spend that much to produce the same quantity. And some of them will even have enhanced yield. With the same quantity you grow over 1 acre, you can harvest more than you harvested before. So this is definitely going to cause financial gain to all the farmers and also the consumer, because if you spend less to produce, it's less expensive on the market for the consumer to buy.
Director of CSIR Institute for Scientific and Technological Information, Dr. Mantiel, explained the essence of the workshop.
Last year, the African Union Development Agency, NEPAD, started a project in 6 African countries. The aim of this project is to promote what they call genome editing. Genome editing is a tool in modern biotechnology that can be used to improve agriculture. I mean, in the face of climate change and all, we need technology that can help us address this. I mean, so coming out with crop varieties that can withstand all this, that's the whole idea, is using science and technology to solve the challenges of agriculture in Ghana. That's basically. So what they did was that they wanted to create awareness about genome editing. They wanted to have a system where people can have confidence in this technology, public education and all that. So they developed a communication strategy, and this workshop is going to validate the draft communication strategy for possible implementation, going forward.
The Ghana Broadcasting Corporation's Divisional Union has given Fair Wages and Salaries Commission a week's ultimatum to revise what it describes as illegal removal of allowances as it prepares to embark on an indefinite strike. The Divisional Union Chairman, Sam Nat Kevel, indicated that after the cancellation of the allowances, some staff have also suffered a retronet offset deduction between 600 cedis and 800 cedis. The GBC's Divisional Union says the union will be forced to lay down their tools in a week's time if Fair Wages and Salaries Commission fails to restore the allowances. Sam Kevel speaks.
We are intrigued by Mr. Benata's posture because the essence and main function of the Fair Wages is to negotiate salaries and allowances of Ghanaian workers through their unions. Management of GBC all this while have written 8 responses to the claims by Mr. Benata regarding his decision to deny GBC workers of their legitimate allowances. Copies of the responses were sent to the Controller Accountant General Department, Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, and all other relevant state institutions. The Public Service Workers Union, PSW, GBC's Manor Union, equally wrote to the Controller Accountant General Department to carry out Fair Wages directives. In spite of all these efforts, the CEO of Fair Wages Mr. Ben Arthur still went ahead and directed the Controller Accountant General Department to remove the allowances of GBC workers. We have been patient with government on the low levels of salaries drawn by staff after placing GBC on the single spine salary structure. We have executed and continue to execute our duties nonetheless. This is certainly not the time to rip us of what is due us. If government cannot improve our condition of work and living condition, we must not make our already deplorable situation worse off, as is enshrined in labor law. Ladies and gentlemen, in view of this situation we find ourselves, we wish to announce a roadmap towards a full-blown indefinite strike. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in view of the situation we find ourselves, we wish to announce a roadmap towards a full-blown indefinite strike. Thank you. To begin with, from today, Friday, 2nd June 2023, all staff will come to work either in red attire or wear red bands for 1 week. If nothing positive in terms of restoration of the removed allowances occurs, the union will begin an indefinite strike. Thank you for coming.
Well, he also added that the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission should not make unilateral decisions to deduct from employees' salaries.
Right, or wrote to Controller Accountant General Department asking them to stop those allowances and start the deduction. It is unlawful, and that's what we're calling on Fair Wages to do the needful. This is not a war, this is not a football game. One party sees is winning, but let's come to the drawing table. It's an agreement. It cannot unilaterally take such a decision. The beneficiary is not asking for reduction in an already deplorable allowance or salary that workers are taking in this country. If GBC were asking for additional salaries on their pay, then this matter could have been a concern for discussion. But this is an allowance or a salary we've been earning over the years. So why should IMF just arrive or just be signed will be the one affecting them backwards? That's one. I don't see any reason with that. But if it is the IMF reason, organized labor and the union will resist it.
Government is set to meet all members of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum on Thursday, June 8th, over their demand that government pays interest on all accrued principals. At a meeting with the Finance Ministry, leadership of the Pensioner Bondholders Forum insisted that the interest payment, despite an earlier plea by the Deputy Finance Minister Abna Asari. The ministry has, however, agreed to clear all coupons owed the bondholders in arrears. There is more in the following report.
During the pensioner bondholders picketing on Thursday, the Deputy Minister of Finance, Abna Asari, walked in to interact with them. She urged the group to halt their picketing as she proposed a meeting with them to address their demands.
Let's meet tomorrow, discuss this and look at the long-term payment for the principal. So I would plead that tomorrow you don't come whilst we meet with you and see how best we can look at things.
Although the group declined to halt the picketing, they agreed to meet the minister on Friday. On Friday morning, they converged as their leadership prepared for the meeting. Before that meeting, convener of the group, Dr. Edwana Nientwi, tells Joy News about what they are going in to demand for.
We have said that this is investment capital, the capital that people are investing. If you keep on holding it, the only thing you have to do is to pay interest for the days that you have held these funds. So that is all. This meeting that I'm going is just what interest are you going to pay? Then we can talk about when you are going to pay.
After an hour of deliberation, the leadership of the group came back with some news.
The ministry is pleading that we forgive the interest. We consider the interest, and we have said that we can't give any answer to the minister now, the deputy minister now. So we have agreed that Thursday, the bigger group will meet and hear the ministry And if they are able to convince the wider group that we should accept the zero interest for the delayed payment, then we take it from there.
He said the ministry has also agreed to clear all outstanding coupons.
The ministry is going to pay the outstanding coupons immediately. So 5 coupons are outstanding. Those coupons are going to be paid immediately. On the principal,
if they say immediately, what does that mean?
They will start the arrangement from today. So we believe by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we would have seen it.
Some members of the group say the outcome of the meeting gives them some hope and relief.
Well, that's a very fine move on the part of the government. They've given assurances in the past, which they've not gone by. So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's wait Monday. Let's see what happens, and we'll take it from there. We hope this time government would keep its word.
The group converges again next week Thursday for a meeting to accept or reject government plea to back down on their call for interest payment on the 4 principals accrued between February and May 2023. James Kwesi-Aveji's report read to you.
We take a break here. We'll be back with more stories. Welcome back. Let's do some politics now. Now, former national organizer of the New Patriotic Party, Samuel Uku, has ranked all presidential aspirants of the NPP ahead of former President John Mahama. He says the track record of the NDC flag bearer for election 2024 does not justify his return as president. Mr. Uku has, however, advised members of his party to refrain from denting the image of any of the aspirants in the heat of campaigning for flag bearership. He's speaking at the launch of a support fund for youth in the Kpebu East.
People have so far picked nominations to contest the presidential race of the NPP. It is expected that more known figures who have declared intentions to contest the race will show up to pick forms in the coming days. The main opposition party, the National Democratic Congress, has already elected John Mahama as their aspirant for the 2024 presidential election. But Samuel Uku believes the opposition party's candidate is no match to any of the NPP's aspirants, as he declared his support for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
We need to look beyond just talking tribal and religion, especially with some of the write-ups that I see. Clearly, it's not the election of a pope. It's not the election of the next cardinal. It's the election of a next political leader. So you need to weigh all of them coming. And I have stated here today that all the aspirants on any day, for me, will be a better candidate than any candidate that the NDC will bring. However, I'm looking at somebody who can make it easier for me to cross the finishing line. And that is why I said that me personally, I will make a choice for Dr. Bawumia. And I have said that. So the NPP, what the NPP is seeking to do by breaking the 8 is technically a continuation of the policies, the programs, and the vision of the party and government.
Samuel Uku is calling on party supporters to ensure campaigns are carried out fairly without denting the image of any aspirant.
That I don't want anybody to be attacking any candidate. If you like the Honorable Akoto Afriye, speak positively on his achievement, his success story, and why he'll be a good candidate. If you want the Honorable Alan Chemat, if you want Kwabene Japon, if you want Boache Japon, you want Dr. Bawumia, you want this, speak about their positive attribute, their contribution towards the government and the party, and how they can help us to cross the 8. And so for me, I think that internal cohesion, maintaining party discipline will be a very key element in the NPP's quest to break the 8. But I have no doubt in my mind that when we are done with the primaries, those of us who are former will get onto it properly. We know how to win elections.
Meanwhile, the youth wing of the Kpebu East NPP has launched a fund to support party members in need. Youth organizer Silas Banjesi says they are energizing the party for the next election.
The youth wing has a number of patrons, about 12 to 15 people who support us. And as you heard when we were launching the fund, every month the patrons have pledged that they will donate an amount into the fund to help us, to help the youth in terms of need. Those who need support in terms of scholarships, those who need support in terms of paying school fees, those who need support in terms of even buying forms to go to school. It's an issue. So I believe that if they donate to the fund every month, we'll be able to sustain the fund and help grow the fund.
For Joy News, Nanaya Ojima, Kumasi.
The Supreme Court has, in a unanimous decision, declared that it is unconstitutional for chiefs to endorse candidates of their at their party. The court, however, pointed out that the raising or lauding policy of a candidate is permissible. This is the Apex Court's decision in a case filed by legal practitioner Elom Kwame Koni against the Attorney General. Legal Affairs correspondent Joseph Akabley reports.
Ghana's constitution bans chiefs from participating in active party politics. Chiefs wishing to do so and also to contest political office are required to abdicate the stool or skin they occupy. What constitutes active party politics has been a subject of spirited public debate, with some insisting chiefs' endorsement of parties, candidates and their policies is within the law. Despite the uncertainty, chiefs have not shied away from speaking.
The work you are doing here, I didn't see Kwame Nkrumah, but from 1979 to date, no one can say he has worked more than
79 to date.
Anyone who disagrees, I will turn into a serial caller, and if that person defeats me in such a debate, I will abdicate.
Some have had to even at times clarify their comments.
You cannot say something against him. In the same way, your younger brother who has left also came. You can't say something against him. If each person is...
Various experts have raised concerns as well.
If the House of Chiefs cannot manage their own people, they are supported by God, they give them big cars and all that. And I understand some persons. You see, so it's a very difficult situation.
Legal practitioner Elom Kwame Goni took the matter to the Apex Court, seeking its interpretation. The court, in its judgment, authored by Justice Emmanuel Yoni Kulendi, laid down what comments are lawful and which ones are unconstitutional. The court said statements that praise a policy or program or a project of a candidate or a party are permissible endorsements. On the other hand, those other statements where a chief is heard endorsing the person of the candidate or his party or urging voters to vote for them are the kind of, quote, taking sides, end quote, in a partisan political contest that the Constitution disapproves of. The court noted that chiefs are not barred from expressing their opinions about matters that are subject to public debate and discussion. This, he added, strikes the right balance between the rights of chiefs and reasonable expectations associated with their role and the public interest concerns that animated the said constitutional provisions.
The Managing Director of the Zoomline Private Services Limited, Edward Amoako, has urged Ghanaians to inculcate the habit of segregating plastic waste from other waste to help in the recycling process. Speaking at the cleanup exercise organized ahead of this year's World Environmental Day on 5th June, he said Ghanaians should change their attitude of indiscriminate plastic disposal and focus on recycling as the only way to overcome pollution.
Yeah, what we are seeing here today, what are so today, as part of our core mandate as Zoomlion Ghana Limited, we are responsible for waste management in the city and across the whole nation, one of the biggest waste management companies in Africa. And as we come here today, we want to commemorate the World Environment Day, which falls on Monday. And how do we want to do it? We've brought our workers, our team, the management, out here to embark on a cleanup campaign. The cleanup campaign is just a way of sensitizing the general public about the need for us to keep a clean environment. Every now and then, we seem to forget that it is only this environment that we have, and if we don't leave it in a good shape, it's going to affect us and it's going to affect the generations years to come. So we come to sensitize them of the need to keep a clean environment, number one, and also to let them be conscious of the fact that the cleanness of the environment is a key prerequisite of every individual. Nobody is responsible for coming to clean up after you if you don't learn to clean up after yourself. So we are encouraging and sensitizing them that let us avoid indiscriminate disposal of refuse. Let us avoid bad waste practices where you find people sweeping or gathering rubbish and just putting them in a corner. And then when the rains come, it washes it back into the gutters, causes floods, or chokes the gutters and causes floods. It's important that they understand that Zoom Lion Ghana Limited and Zoom Lion Private Services Limited is available to even give them bins, so that when you gather these rubbish, you can put them in bins to avoid this overflow or spillover into the gutters. Number two, there is also an eminent menace of plastics waste in our environment, where these plastics take a long time in degradation, they choke the gutters, etc. So we are encouraging them to also adopt segregation of their waste, so that they separate the plastics from the other organic waste, because as Jospon Group of companies, we have a company that converts organic waste into compost for farming, etc. And we also convert the plastic waste, recycle them into the bins that we give to people to dispose of their waste. And it's very much important in the circular economy that we do that. So
the National Road Safety Authority is calling on agencies to fast-track the construction of footbridges on the major busy intersections across the country to reduce accidents. Now, according to the authority, the growing impatience of both drivers and passengers is contributing to the high numbers of pedestrian knockdowns at major intersections, and that must be checked. Samuel Brewer of our Road Safety Desk reports.
The National Road Safety Authority, in collaboration with Solidarity for Humanity International, conducted a pedestrian facility observation on the N1 highway, which has been identified as an accident hotspot. The aim was to educate and sensitize road users on safety regulations when using zebra crossings at road intersections. Public Relations Officer for the National Road Safety Authority, Pearl Edusu, said preparations are underway for the construction of footbridges to avert the continuous pedestrian knockdown.
We have really observed that it's very dangerous and risky for pedestrians to cross, and it's difficult for the drivers to also wait for the pedestrians. And so already our Greater Accra region with the road agencies have had stakeholder engagement and have agreed to put up pedestrian footbridge at various intersections. What we've seen is making us reiterate the call that the road agencies should fast track the getting of a pedestrian crossing, which is a footbridge, over here, so as to protect the lives of our pedestrians across busy intersections, especially in the Greater Accra region and all over the country.
But Chief Inspector Oponchiremi of the Tesano Divisional MTTD indicated that despite the safety signs, both pedestrians and drivers are deliberately flouting the regulations, which mostly result in avoidable accidents, and assured that drastic measures have been enforced to curtail the indiscipline on the road.
As a matter of fact, attitude of pedestrians at this very intersection is very, very serious. Reason being that pedestrians are not careful to observe the traffic light when even it is red for not them to cross. They fall themselves onto the road to manage to cross, and in the process, most of the time we do have knockdowns as a result of they are forcing their way to cross the road. In fact, drivers also have it difficult with the pedestrians in the sense that pedestrians normally cross anyhow. They don't observe the pedestrian crossings. They cross, they can even jump some of the fence and then enter into the new road. whereas it is green for drivers to even go. So in the course of that, it normally brings accidents or knockdowns on the road.
Meanwhile, Samuel Boamadankwa, Senior Manager at National Road Safety Authority and representative of Bloomberg Initiative on Road Safety in Ghana, holds the view that the fight against road traffic accidents can only succeed if there is enough sensitization and an improvement in road infrastructure.
Some of the challenges we identified pointed to the fact that the signal timing for pedestrians was initially 18 seconds, and this is woefully inadequate for pedestrians to do a complete cross of 13 lanes of road corridor here. And so through our modeling, we were able to, with support from the Department of Urban Roads and the Ghana Highway Authority, increase this from 18 seconds to 35 seconds.
And that's all we have here on Joy Newsroom. I am Maame Thompson. We're back this evening at 7.